Hey Maddie, did you submit your part for the project? You know it's due in a couple of days, right?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Oops.
Well, I'm gonna need you to get on it because this is a group presentation, and you still didn't email us back. You still haven't chose your sources. You haven't done anything, and
Yeah.
if you don't, I'm really gonna tell the professor, and it's gonna affect your grade because I'm not gonna be the one doing all the work. So
So that situation could have been handled differently with a simple apology, but sometimes people don't know when to apologize or how to apologize. So with that being said, today we're going to discuss the problem with apologies, the 3 parts of an apology, and some additional tips into how you can make your apology most effective and complete.
So, going off of that, let's start with the problems with apologies. Some people don't know when it's appropriate to apologize, and some really just don't know how. And it also could be difficult because, according to Chapter 7 in our textbook, some people are ashamed, some people may feel too prideful, and again, some people just don't understand how to apologize. And according to the Department of Communications at the University of Aradia, apologizing can be a cultural phenomenon. Research has shown that Asians are more likely to apologize than us Westerners because to them, the concept of apologizing is considered a virtue, and it's considered very important. Another interesting concept with apologizing is that people of different genders, male and female, they also have different ways of apologizing. In our textbook, it also said that men are more likely to apologize to strangers over their friends, but on girls, when it comes to girls, girls are more likely to apologize to their friends rather than strangers. And also, when it comes to the different communication dynamics between men and women, men are less likely to be emotional when apologizing compared to women who are more willing to spill out their emotions and really talk about what happened and kind of give some background towards the apology.
So, something interesting going off of what Simone said is that women use sorry almost as a crutch or a hedge or a space filler. They just say it whenever. It's like a casual reflex at this point. Men don't do this, so why do women do it? And there's studies being done to figure out why they do this, but they think it's just like a space filler. Like, sorry, I didn't text you back earlier. Or when you bump into me, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. What am I sorry for? I didn't do anything. So the problem with using sorry so often is that it loses its meaning, and that might be another thing that's contributing to why apologies have become so difficult for people to make. When you say something too often, it loses its meaning. So now that we've established what the problem with apologizing is, let's look at how we can potentially fix it by looking at how a complete apology is constructed. The first part of a complete apology is the person who is in the wrong admitting what he or she did. Secondly, the perpetrator has to explain why he or she took that action. However, sometimes it's best to skip this part because sometimes you don't know why you took that action and it may bring about anxiety and just worsen the situation. So if you feel like you don't know why you did it or you're not completely sure, skip this step. Finally, the third part of a complete apology is showing remorse. You need to convince the person that you're apologizing to that you're actually sorry and you won't do it again.
Now that we know what a complete apology looks like, let's look into some additional tips as to how to make it even better. First thing is to repair the damage. To be complete, an apology should attempt to correct the injury. What can I do to fix this? Or next time I will try to. Another thing that's important is taking responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your actions in order to make the apology seem real. Also, you need to show your regret. The Journal of Psycholinguistic Research says in order for an apology to be performed, the speaker must acknowledge responsibility for having committed some offending act, and he or she must express regret about the offense, saying something like, I feel bad that or you trusted me and I betrayed your trust. Also, make sure you're using appropriate timing. For little things, you should apologize right away. If you bumped into someone in the hall, make sure you apologize right afterwards. But if you've truly hurt someone, take some time to think and plan out what you're going to say. Lastly, we're going to look at choosing the best way to give an apology. Doing it over things like text messages or emails impersonal. The best way is to do it face-to-face because it shows that you're being honest. According to Dr. Tesdell, you will be more respected by the person you're addressing as well as yourself because you put in the effort to do it face-to-face with the person.
Now, going back to the conflict that we experienced in the beginning of this presentation, let's see if Maddie and Simone can use the information that we've learned from our book, that we use in class and research conducted by Southampton University and see if they can fix their problems and how they'll go about apologizing to each other. First, they should state what they did wrong, why they did it, and act sorry. Show them that you really care and you want to fix this.
Hey Simone, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry about earlier. I realize now that I really messed up, and next time I'm definitely going to do my work ahead of time.
That's fine. I appreciate you for apologizing. And I just want to say that I'm sorry to you because I did kind of like spaz out on you. So I do again want to apologize for that. I was just a little angry because I really care about the work. So I just wanted us to do well.
It's okay, I understand. Hey, do you want to go to the mall or something?
Yeah, let's go.
So how can you apply this to your everyday life? Dr. Zander, in his journal, The Power of Apology, says an apology is the tool that affirms our primacy of our connection with others. Meaning, an apology is like sticking a band-aid on a wound and letting it heal. It shows how complex and interesting human communication is. In Dr. Zander's journal, he explains that life isn't a war unless we make it one. If you have too much pride or you're too stubborn, that may lead to a loss of friends and physical confrontations. Who wants that? An important thing to remember when apologizing to anyone in general, as suggested by our communications textbook that we use in class, is that sometimes the other person isn't going to accept your apology. You may give your most sincere apology and it may come from the bottom of your heart, but the other person may not be emotionally ready to accept your apology. So if you've taken all these prior steps and you've prepared for this apology and they still don't accept it, it's in their hands from there on out and there's really nothing you can do. But it can also be a learning experience for you because you may think twice before communicating the same way as you did. The final thing that you need to take away from this presentation is realizing that it's not about who won or who lost when you're apologizing. It's about mending the relationship that you've injured and moving on from there. Learning how to apologize effectively and correctly can be so beneficial to your everyday communication and improving your relationships with others. So in today's presentation, we
looked at the problems that come with apologies. Some people may be ashamed to apologize. Some people may be too prideful to apologize. And some people just don't know how to apologize.
And next, we looked at the 3 parts of a complete apology, stating what you've done, why you did it, and showing remorse for what you've done.
And then we looked at tips and tricks to keeping a good apology, things like taking responsibility, using good timing, and showing regret.
So from our presentation, we hope you learned a lot about apologies, how to use them, and how to better communicate when apologizing.
We often forget how important apologies are. They're a vital tool in preserving our connection and relationships with each other in everyday communication. So, from today's presentation, we hope that you can walk away with some confidence and know how to make an apology the next time you need to. But if you don't,
I'm sorry.